got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You gotta shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you gotta shout, oh Lord. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 You gotta dance. Yeah, you gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you gotta dance, oh Lord. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 You gotta cry. Yeah, I gotta cry when the Spirit says cry. You got to cry when the Spirit says cry. When the Spirit says cry, you gotta cry, oh Lord. You got to cry when the Spirit says cry. 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 You gotta do. Yeah, you gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. 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 Well done. Our lighting. Well done. Thanks for adding energy to that. Our lighting of the chalice this morning is read by Cynthia Burton.
The Great Turning by Lisa Garcia Sampson. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. And so we light our chalice.
In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. For some of us, spirituality is experienced and expressed most directly and deeply through doing, through engaged, meaningful, responsible action. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm the Reverend Kevin Tarsa, and right now I'm quite sure that what the Spirit says to do is to silence our cell phones. You know, not everyone realizes just how up-to-date the Spirit is. But wait, there's more. The Spirit is also saying to pause for a moment, to take a breath, and another, I think. So that we can prepare to be as authentic, as kind, as open, as present
as present as we can be right now, as we take a few moments to welcome and greet the people around us with care, noticing all of us together who is yet needing to be greeted. So with as much presence and courage as you have this morning, I invite you to say hello to the people around you, whether you're in the room or in the Zoom room. Thank you for that. The room is always more alive after we do that. The energy changes. Our land acknowledgement this morning is offered by Maureen McNair.
For the indigenous people who lived on this land for thousands of years, spirituality was inseparable from other aspects of daily life. It was rooted in the interconnectedness of all things, the land, humans, animals, plants, and the spirit world. Although their land was stolen and families decimated, these deep beliefs and cultural practices survived and were guarded and transmitted to the next generation by tribal elders. Only in the very recent past have the Nisenan people been able to purchase a tiny portion of their homeland, where they are putting down roots, caring for elders, and practicing their traditions without interference. With this basket of black oaks, we pledge our ongoing support to the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe. We share their joy that they are able to recover more of their rich cultural heritage, stabilize their people, and continue their legal fight to regain federal recognition. We will support them in these and other efforts in whatever ways we can, under their guidance and at their request.
Maureen, thank you. And we get to send the same light that's in our chalice with our youngest people, and we get to sing them on their way to Kids Connection with this little light of mine, as Lindsay comes to carry that flame to take with them.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains. I'm Cheryl Morris, serving as worship associate this morning, as we take a look at a very, very big subject, spirituality. It could probably be a topic every Sunday for a year, and we still wouldn't do it justice. Some of us would love to give that a try, and others not so much. I'm grateful to Scotty for introducing me to the work of David Steindl Rast. In case you've never heard of him, which I hadn't, he is a 99-year-old Benedictine monk whose life work has been interfaith dialogue, especially Buddhist-Christian, and also the intersection between science and spirituality. He typically spent half the year in a monastery and the other half traveling all over the world, teaching and meeting with religious leaders of many faiths. Here's a quote that will give you the flavor of his thinking. Sometimes people get the mistaken notion that spirituality is a separate department of life, the penthouse of existence. But rightly understood, it is a vital awareness that pervades all realms of our being. Wherever we may come alive, that is the area in which we are spiritual. So, looked at through the widest possible lens, what is spirituality? And what does it mean to be spiritual? I'm certain that will be different for each of us. And in our UU tradition, we believe that asking the questions is at least as important as any answers that might present themselves. Wherever we stand on this subject, or think we stand, this morning is yet another opportunity to be present with open hearts and open minds. Welcome. It is good to be together.
Multiple Intelligences Welcome by Don Cooley. The diversity of the human species is astounding. The fact that we can gather together for common experience is nothing short of a miracle.
Today, let us celebrate some of those differences. Let us celebrate those who worship best through music, for whom the Holy speaks through rhythm and harmony, pitch and meter.
Let us celebrate the interpersonal worshiper who finds the sacred in relationships and in community.
Let us celebrate those who worship best through the visual world, for whom the divine speaks through the aesthetics of a space.
Let us celebrate the verbal and linguistic worshiper, for whom words and languages, stories and poetry are sacred sources of joy and revelation.
Let us celebrate those to whom the divine might be found in logical reasoning, in mathematics, and through critical thinking.
Let us celebrate the intrapersonal worshiper, those who experience the holy as they listen to the still, small voice within themselves.
Let us celebrate those who worship best through their bodies, those to whom the divine speaks through movement and physical action.
And let us celebrate the naturalistic worshiper, for whom the sacred is found in plants and animals, mountains and valleys, deserts and forests, oceans and streams.
Today, may we find a way to connect with the ultimate, each according to our own ways of understanding and experiencing the world.
May we bring our whole selves to this worship service.
And celebrate the diversity amongst us.
Spirit of life is one of the framings that works for a broad range of people when we're talking about what's beyond us. And this hymn, Spirit of Life, has come to be one of the very beloved hymns in our tradition. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing. We'll sing a couple times through. Thank you. We light our candle of compassion, resistance, and resilience with words spoken in our sister congregation, the UU Society of Sacramento, from where by whom we were inspired and from whom we adopted this ritual. In these times of disruption and anxiety, when cruelty is so often on display in our country, this flame is a reminder to bear witness to human decency, to dignity, and to freedom. By this light and its presence, let us remember that fear is outrun by hope, and that hatred is no match for the power of love. In the days to come, may this flame light our way forward with courage and with hope. Blessed be and amen. In our ritual of joys and sorrows, we count the concerns of our nation, of people living in fear, of so much dismantling, of lost jobs and organizations and targeted institutions, of diminished hopes and crises of faith, among our full range of concerns and sorrows. We honor too floods and fires and winds, those suffering for all kinds of reasons, and worries much closer in, for our own health maybe, or someone we love, our own wholeness or our finances, our own not enoughness in life in some way. And we count the beauty and the joys and the welcome surprises of our days too. Moments of unexpected courage and insight, evidence of personal growth, delicious bounty from the garden and the market, beauty everywhere around us, tender expressions of love and kindness, and openings appearing of which we hadn't dared dream. If this ritual is new to you here in the room, there's a chance for people to come forward, take a stone from the table and place it in the bowl of water to honor all that you're holding in your heart. For those who are online, there's a chance to actually type into the chat some of what you carry, or to type an O or a 0, the equivalent of a stone, where you don't want to name something specific, but want to honor something that's going on for you. I invite us to enter this time, even if we're just sitting still, with a lot of presence. Maybe for you this is a time of prayer or a time of attending to your breath, your attention, your intention. Maybe it's just being still and present to whatever is going on in the entire room, knowing that in this moment we're holding each other, even as we honor what's in us individually. With that, I invite you, if you wish, to come forward and to hold each other. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Be with me, be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Understandably, a very full bowl. There was one little stone left to add for all the rest that we hold. May we remember that we are not alone.
In the Kundalini Yoga tradition, as in Hinduism and Buddhism, it is taught and believed that we come into this life with karma, and that certain people and opportunities present themselves for us to work through that karma so that our soul can evolve. And the meditation that I will be leading today is one that was taught to me by my teacher, Sat Santok. And it involves mantra and mudra. So it is believed in this tradition that we have tendencies or habits that come in the lifetime that create grooves that we tend to go into that stop the flow or prevent us from being in that central channel or in that flow, so that we can more easily and readily overcome that karma. And so this mudra and mantra I invite us to all do together It is really simple, and you can do any part of it. So the mudra involves hands, and so feel free to use that if you wish, and if it's not working for you, that's fine too. But it's basically, I'll tell you, the mantra is really easy and simple. It's sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma, which is Sat Nam, which means truth is my essence. And it's very similar to Namaste. It's about reconnecting with our own light and then recognizing that light within each other. But what is said is that when we chant is the fastest way to overcome samskara, the fastest way to get out of those grooves or those habits that we tend to fall into. So each of the fingers represents one of the syllables, and it's sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Perfect. And so what this is birth, life, death, resurrection, is representing the cycle of life. And so what we'll do together is we'll chant it loud for a little bit, then we're going to whisper for a little bit, and then we're going to go silent to ourselves. And as you're chanting silently to yourself, you're still finding that each syllable is connected to one of the fingers, Sata Nama. You'll be doing that silently. And then we come back out, and we take it in a whisper, and then we come back to the louder. I left my timer over here. So, well, this is one of my favorite tools to use when I'm feeling very lost or out there or just kind of dysregulated. It helps just kind of come back to center. So, as you're willing and as you wish, feel free to join in. Satanama. Satanama, 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 Satanama. Whisper, Tanama, Satanama. Satanama, 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 Satana. And one more and we'll go silent. Satanama. Satanama, 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 Satana. One more time. Satana. Now deep inhale through the nose and hold. And when you're ready, exhale through the mouth. And if you wish, touching index finger to the thumb. Satnam.
What an enormous pleasure to be gathered here with you this morning and to get to take a few moments to share something from my heart. Here we are, as really every Sunday, at the intersection of reason and mystery, exploring together the deeper experience of what animates us. UUs typically recognize the value of reason, but what about mystery? We often dismiss it as confusing or woo-woo or just unimportant. That was me, busy with the dailiness of living until one fine morning in my 30s. Alcoholics Anonymous told me that if I wanted to stay sober, I needed a solid wind under my wings, a God as I understood God. God? Higher power? Power other than Scotty? They had my attention. Desperate for sobriety, I opened my mind just a crack. I assumed that I was facing a fairly straightforward question. Is there a God or isn't there? I envisioned a trip to the library and a return home staggering with a load of books that would lead me, and I would study them until I understood truth. The eternal flow, cosmic glue, subtle connection, the force. In my 40s, I began intentionally collecting possible names for all this mystery, names that might resonate with more clearly with my evolving sense of the sacred. Universal spirit, mas allá, solid core, authentic self. At one point, I was asked to consider prayer and meditation, so for many years, I drove an hour each way to the Zendo on the Ridge. I still don't have words for why I was pulled to sit in silence, facing a plain white wall, nearly every Monday night for nearly 10 years. The beloved, the unfathomable, the inner wisdom, transcendent reality, spirit of compassion. Later, I learned the Tao Te Ching begins, quote, "The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao." The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. It crystallized for me that words are an incredibly clumsy tool for considering mystery. Dang. The great emptiness beyond speech. Whomever might be listening, dissolver of space and time, intuitive self. About the time I turned 60, UUCM got custody of me. I yearned for someone to help me discern my personal path through the tangle of reason and mystery. And Rev Margot, a San Francisco UU minister, materialized. Early on, I arrived at one of our conversations with my mind and my belly in tight, furious knots over my next door neighbor's his behavior around a fence, an ugly, illegal fence that he was determined to build. An hour later, I left her office completely relaxed, my belly as soft as a kitten's. FYI, the fence was indeed built, but it didn't strangle my equanimity. Breath of the universe, unseen universal hum and energy, net of Indra, balance keeper, inherent wisdom. So what do I think I know about the mystery-reason nexus today in my late 70s? Well, still sober, I am increasingly relaxed about the extraordinary number of things I don't understand. My trust is deepening that the Desiderata is correct when it says, whether or not it is clear to you, doubtless the universe is proceeding as it should. Perhaps in the presence of cosmic oneness, hidden wholeness, the pulsing white-hot center, primordial essence, spirit guide, Buddha nature, unfolding awareness, essential nature, inner voice. May it be so.
Scotty, thank you. I noticed you had a pair of pruners in your back pocket, and I was wondering if that was going to show up in the conversation about spirituality. And Gracie, thank you very much. That is running through me still. A member of a congregation I was serving years ago explained to me that though they had heard that some of the members wanted more spirituality in the Sunday services, they did not want more spirituality. Thank you very much. And they were concerned, in fact, with how much spirituality had already crept into the services. But in previous conversations, that same person had described to me in mystical terms, really, their experience in the wilderness. They described their experience in what I would call very powerfully spiritual terms. I later asked them what was spiritual to them in life. And that member talked about those times in the wilderness and that sense of awe, but also about feeling strong and powerful connections to members of the congregation, and about what happened in a service when it was extra meaningful in some way, or added extra insight. And I wondered to myself, well, which of those feelings did they not want more of in a Sunday service? Of course, in their original comment about not wanting more spirituality, what they meant was that they did not want more theism, more supernaturalism, more mention of God or prayer, or what for them were triggers of their painful religious experiences in the past. That's really what they meant. So as we consider the idea of spirituality, let's set the context together, helping each other to know who and what is here. Before we even try to define spirituality together, I'm going to ask you to identify yourself, as you're willing, along a spectrum of how comfortable you feel with the word and the idea of spirituality, and how useful or important the concept of spirituality is to you. So this has more gradations than I would normally do, but I'll name these, and they'll have a number for the folks on Zoom, so you can put your number in the chat when I invite people here to raise hands. So here's the spectrum. Let me give you the spectrum first, so you know the range. 1, the concept of spirituality is meaningful and important to me. 2, I'm comfortable with the concept of spirituality, and I use the word and I apply it in my own life. 3, I'm comfortable with others using the term or speaking of spirituality, although I don't often use it for myself. 4, the concept of spirituality doesn't mean anything really one way or another for me. I guess I don't really get it. 5, the idea of spirituality is a little off-putting for me, and sometimes a bit worrisome when people speak of it. And 6, on this end of the spectrum, the idea of spirituality makes me really uncomfortable. I find it quite troubling. So that got the range? So you might have several of these, but I'm going to ask you which one's strongest for you. So if you're in the room, I invite you to raise your hand, and I'm going to grab my computer to watch the chat. Oh, numbers are going in already. So who's the one? The concept of spirituality is very meaningful and important to me. So I invite us to notice, engage, kind of meaningful and important. Okay. 2, I'm comfortable with the concept of spirituality, and I use the word and apply it in my own life. Yeah, so which of these is kind of most true for you? Number 3, I'm comfortable with others using the term spirituality, although it doesn't really apply to me. I don't really use it for myself. I'm okay with other people using it. Okay. 4, the concept of spirituality doesn't mean really anything one way or another for me. I don't really get it. Yeah. 5, the idea of spirituality is a little off-putting for me and sometimes a bit worrisome when people speak of it. And 6, the idea of spirituality makes me really uncomfortable. I find it quite troubling. Online, 11112, 11112, 11, 24, 2112, 212, 23. Lots of 1s and 2s and 3s. There we are. There we are. Here's the range. So another very quick Goldilocks poll. For those of you who have some sense, even just from today, I'm going to ask you about the level of spirituality you sense or experience or find offered here in the life of the congregation. So I'll ask you, for whom is it there's not enough? You really want some more focus, attention, a sense of spirituality in the congregation. So there's not enough. There's too little. For whom is it's approximately about right, about the right level, and for whom it's too much, right? Too little, about right, too much. So who'd like more? Who's like more attention to spirituality? Thank you. And for whom is it about right? And for whom is there too much? Yes, again, we have people in all the categories, right? Thank you. So this begs the question, of course, what do we mean by spirituality? So what I'm going to invite us to do is share the ingredients we include in our recipes, just like we did for the concept of trust earlier in the year. So in your experience and understanding and perception, what are some of the key ingredients in a definition of spirituality? If you were cooking up a definition of spirituality for people to taste, what are the important ingredients or elements for you? And I'll invite folks on Zoom to type them in. Number 9, if you would call them out, I'll echo them. Being present. Compassion. Love. Connection in both places. Nature. Beyond self. The unexplainable. Grace. Personal responsibility. Practice. Meaning, immensity, wonder. Deeply inner. Stillness. Movement. Coming this way. Relaxation and tranquility. Acceptance. Pause. Love. Feeling a part of the universe. Mystery. Celebration. Deep breathing. Everything is God. Joy. Embracing the unknown. Mystery. interdependence with all life. Kitty. Creativity. Deep gratitude. What hasn't been named yet? Jim. Social justice. Service. Generosity. Moving toward understanding yourself and others. Openness. Community. Surrender. Courage. Infinity. Kindness. Knowing. This is a delicious recipe. I'm curious about the instructions, but not knowing. Growth. What hasn't been named yet? Tolerance. Oh, so many ingredients. One wonders why a definition is difficult. Does anyone have or want to make a pass at a working definition of spirituality? Maybe you already have one. Maybe you want to just, in this moment, based on what we've just heard, anyone want to take a pass at spirituality?
Spirituality is the soup of life.
The soup of life. Right on for today. The soup of life. Anyone else want to, doesn't have to be perfect or final, but in this moment, this might be your definition.
Connected with all and everything.
Connected with all and everything.
What you said, spirituality is beyond words.
Beyond words.
All encompassing.
All encompassing. An exploration of deep mystery. My hope is that as you're hearing these things, you're like, ooh, that piece works for me. Ooh, that piece works for me. Not so much that one, but oh, that piece works for me. I often think of our services on a Sunday morning as setting a table with a variety of dishes, a smorgasbord of sorts, inviting you to take what you wish, telling you what we know about the ingredients, encouraging tasting something new or a dish that someone finds especially delicious or nutritious, knowing that different people will enjoy and be nourished by different items, knowing too that some people will have allergies or sensitivities to certain ingredients, or dietary commitments that will rule out eating certain offerings. In this potluck we're creating today, I'm going to put a few more ingredients out on the table, dishes or ingredients from others that may or may not sound tasty to you. Spirituality is the art of making connections, heart knowledge, awareness of the more than meets the eye in our daily lives, how we make meaning, connection to something beyond ourselves. In answer to the question, is there more to life than this? A suspicion that the answer could well be yes. A search for something missing, something more, something deeper. A quality of the life in the here and now that has to do with genuineness and depth and devotion to values other than my own self-interest. The sensibility and taste for the infinite and intuition of the universe. Embodied experience that opens us up to organic interdependence of the world. Our facing of ultimate mystery of matters beyond our comprehension. Our attempt to categorize experiences of awe, astonishment, rapture, and connection. The faith that a depth dimension of one's life does exist and the process one goes through to reach it. Needing to be intentional and needing to wait. Kat Cox, who helped us work with some deep dialogue understanding, defines it this way. She says, spirituality is that quality of consciousness in which we are aware of our individuality, our absolutely unrepeatable uniqueness, and simultaneously that we're a fragment of the heart of life, that we feel our particularity and our universality all at the same time, all at once. And finally, the fundamental openness of human nature to transcendent experience, that is, an encounter which takes us beyond or out of ourselves. And that's the closest to my working definition of spirituality, based on my experience. For me, spirituality is our innate openness to, and in fact, our longing for transcendent experience, those encounters which take us beyond ourselves to an experience of oneness or connection or awe or deep inclusion or absolute belonging, coupled with kind of the urge to understand it and find meaning in it. So that could be music, singing, nature, laughter, deep connection, deep trust, dancing with abandon, deep shared emotion. All of those can be avenues. As I see it, we have and long for, whether we know it or not, kind of parallel or related kinds of transcendent experiences, but we interpret them and explain them and name them in many different ways. As an experience of the divine, as the workings of the human mind, as the nature of the universe, as a total mystery. There's a spirituality sharing circle here that meets. There's people who wanted to get a little bit more focus and work together to kind of surface some spiritual dimension. And in the very first gatherings, they decided that what they should probably do is define spirituality. So they were talking about the same thing. So flip charts, words, ingredients, right? And as several people who were there are fond of pointing out, they couldn't agree on a definition of spirituality, and said that that was very Unitarian Universalist. But it's also very human. Go looking for people's definitions of spirituality, and it's a lot of talking around and kind of getting in the ballpark. And that's because using words is inherently incomplete, right? For a transcendent experience or a sense, the moment you try to use words, it's not enough. Words are inadequate, and they start to constrict. They're what we've got, but they never quite work, which is why a definition is so hard to come up with. So hearing other people's ingredients, hearing other people's definitions, hearing other people's experience helps get us in the ballpark, even without having a solid, rock solid, absolute definition that we're all going to agree on. Someone said that religion is the social form of human spirituality. Religion is the social form of attending to that urge, right? It's also an important part of why gathering together is so powerful these days. We can get great information in other places. We can get inspiration in other places. But there's something available when we're together at our best that doesn't happen when we're not together. Even it can happen online together too, but doesn't happen in isolated ways. So in our tradition, this social form of spirituality is always a potluck. It's always a potluck meal. We all bring our food to the table, and in some amazingly wonderful moments, we discover that we are suddenly putting a dish together on the spot, in the moment, like a glad and generous stone soup, unplanned and transcendent. It's hard to get words around things like that. But it's one of the things I think that keeps us coming, right? The chance for that kind of shared experience. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote, "If you want to build a ship, don't herd people together to collect wood and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea." If you want to build a ship, teach people to long for the endless immensity of the sea. This summer and always, as we ask ourselves who we can best be as a community in this time, and as we keep exploring what food for the soul means among us, remembering that ships do need to get built, and that congregations do have tasks and services and work, yes, and here, let's commit to inspire our ongoing shipbuilding by continually sharing and exploring with each other what we think we've discovered for the moment about the endless immensity of the sea. The difficult to put into words but compelling and powerful and endless immensity of the sea. That's one way to think about spirituality among us, but it's just one dish on the table. So may we be, knowing that none of this is the final word, and that there are multiple dishes out on the table, including, we hope, the food that you bring.
I think Kevin just gave us all an appetite. Though we may all define and experience spirituality differently, we do come together each week for some kind of communal experience, whether it's being with friends, seeking to feel part of something greater than ourselves, finding an hour of peace, learning something new. The motivations are many, but this is where we come. Contributing financially to this church is a tangible way of supporting what may be an intangible value. Our weekly contributions also support the work of a community partner that shares our values. 50% of our July offerings will go to Child Advocates of Nevada County, whose mission is to advocate for the well-being of children by disrupting cycles of abuse, giving children a voice, and supporting families in raising healthy children. And this slide will tell you additional ways to give. Thank you for giving generously in dollars, in spirit, and in actions. We dedicate these gifts to supporting a place where spirituality in all its expressions, or none, are accepted, and where we are emboldened to express our spirituality in ways that make a difference in the world.
Thank you, Cheryl. So once again, I invite you, if you appreciated something someone did in the service that was visible, I invite you to make a commitment right now to go thank them afterwards. Maybe pick who that's going to be. Something who did something you appreciated. Or seeing the list of the folks behind the scenes too, especially on this next slide, are the behind the scenes folks. Those of you who are familiar, pick somebody on that list I invite you to express gratitude. Always many things going on this week. Writers group, an arts and crafts circle, a buildings and grounds work party. Great way to just come and connect people and do some good in the congregation. And the spirituality sharing circle on Saturday. You'll have to ask them what that's about when you get there. And next Sunday, I invite you to bring a salad for a salad lunch. Anyone know that they're likely to be able to do that? Bring a salad for lunch next week, for in between, after the service? Yeah. I invite you to consider doing that. And we're going to have a conversation then about our very full sanctuary and kind of our initial kind of experiences, thoughts, feelings around that. So we'll have a nice deep conversation after the service. So that's next week. As always, especially if you're new, check out the website, talk to our greeters. You're welcome to contact me. We're glad you're here. Especially those who came for the first time, thanks for crossing the threshold into new territory. That's nothing to take for granted. I invite us to rise and sing this final song that talks about the river that's flowing in our soul, in our heart, and in our mind. Again, recognizing not only the different aspects of ourselves, but the range of who's here. In the 1930s, John Dewey taught that what makes an experience religious actually is the effect it has on our life, on its ability to lend deep and enduring support to our living. No matter what your relationship to spirituality is, or your evolving definition, may what we do together here do that. Lend deep and enduring support to the process of our living. May that be true for you. May that be true for this community every time we gather at the table. And we send each other with these good words, this benediction, to remind ourselves that we're not alone. We'll extinguish the chalice, but together we will carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. We'll see you next Sunday where we're going to talk about apocalypse. Join us for conversation and refreshments.